Hello everyone. Hi to all the beautiful people that are here today for this juicy live about secret sexuality. Hi Alma. Hello. Hi everyone. We're going to talk about why sexuality and sensuality has nothing to do with beauty. So this is a very juicy live. Stay till the end because I'm gonna give you a practice of sacred sexuality and Aphrodisiac philosophy and spirituality that you can use from this very moment to unleash your real sensual and magnetic sexual power, which, as the live of today says, has nothing to do with beauty. Okay. Hi, Nicola. Hello. Come and join and share this live on your socials because we're going to talk about something which is very precious for all women and all men. And it's something that in intimacy, in sexual intimacy, and in love relationships, everyone should know. Okay, because there is a lot of pressure about physical shapes in love and sexuality. And today I really want to help you dismantle these beliefs that prevent you from really feeling the pleasure and the joy in sexuality and in intimacy. So there will be a surprise also at the end. So stay in this live, okay? And share as much as you can because it's very important. Every woman and every man should hear this. If you want, write me from where you're connecting. So and maybe you also in the chat can see if there are people nearby you that follow sacred sexuality and my Aphrodite teachings, so you can be in touch with each other. I love to be a bridge and put people in contact, people with the same values, so you can feel never more alone, never more alienated, but feel secure and safe and part of a worldwide community. So the title of today's live is Why Sexuality Has Nothing to Do with Beauty. And it's a quite provocative title because indeed sexuality and sensuality have a lot to do with beauty, but not the beauty that the majority of people are made to believe. I'm not talking about the average beauty, because listen to this, there are two kinds of beauty. The kind of beauty which I define the obsessive one, imposed and dictated from the outside, precisely from patriarchal capitalism, which dictates unreachable standards, especially for us women, but also for men, in order to keep us perpetually enslaved and insecure, spending lots of money and lots of time and energy to make our body perfect, where perfection does not exist. So the majority of people are more worried about physical perfection than focusing on the real pleasure. And that's why there are a lot of money traveling around and going into the basket of cosmetics and plastic surgery. And they leverage on our sense of inadequacy and sense of guilt also, because the perfection, the beauty bond to perfection, the obsessive beauty, the first kind of beauty I'm talking about, is based also on the social pressure that especially we women receive, so much so that beauty perfectionism is something that has to do with decorum. So we feel guilty, we feel inadequate socially if we don't stick to those unreachable models that keep us enslaved into this chain. Well, the second kind of beauty is the one that I define Aphrodisiac beauty, and has nothing to do with being obsessed by the physical forms, the physical shapes. It has nothing to do with obsession, indeed. It has to do with love, with care, with devotion, with freedom, with art. And that kind of Aphrodisiac beauty has a lot to do with pleasure, because it's based on pleasure. And this beauty is completely different, has nothing in common with the other kind of beauty, which is confused with real beauty, but we could easily change its name with other names like perversion of beauty, like slavery, like power over dynamics, like controlling over women's bodies. And this is not sensual at all. What do you think of that? Do you agree with me? Write it down in the chat and let me know whether you agree or not. So I want to ask you a question. Do you know, I see a heart, so you agree. Okay, I'm glad. Do you know that among the most important causes of inhibition of sexual desire and the inhibition of the ability within a woman's body, a person's body, to experience pleasure is body shaming? Do you know about body shaming? Body shaming is something that has, in some cases, such a heavy effect on people, especially women's psyche, that can have a totally negative implications in their sexuality, in their social life, so much so that some people don't even go out. Can you hear me? Can you hear me still on Instagram? Just give me a sign if you can hear me on Instagram. So, and body shaming can be so violent in the effects on a woman's psyche that it can lead to in some cases, even to suicide. So no jokes with that. And there are different kinds of body shaming. One, which is indirect body shaming, is like the one that you can hear me. Perfect. It broke up for me. Okay, perfect. I was talking about body shaming of two types. Indirect body shaming, which is the one we receive every day, all of us. How? Through being exposed to those unattainable and reachable models of perfection and beauty, which are unreachable and also unreal. Yes, because the majority of these models that are continuously proposed to us, to which we are continuously exposed on newspapers, on magazines, on TV, on cinema, sometimes on social medias, are fake, because all those actresses and models which we believe are perfect are photoshopped, all of them. And also they have on a lot of makeup. You have no idea. I come from the world of theater, and I am an actress also, and a dancer, and you have no idea of what you can do with makeup. No idea. So it's fake. The beauty that we feel the urge to stick to as an unreachable model is fake. And having this model continuously under our eyes as instilled and injected into our minds the idea that we are more desirable as women if we are perfect. We are more sensual if we are perfect. We would have better sexual experiences if we are perfectly beautiful, or we'll have a perfect love life if we are perfect. And this is normalized because every people are exposed to that. So this causes in any real woman the feeling of inadequacy, feeling ugly or not beautiful enough, not desirable, not worthy of being loved, not worthy of being desired, especially in sex. Not sexy, not interesting, not charming, not magnetic, not attractive. So the majority of women, just because they're not perfect, they have forgotten their sensual and magnetic power we all have towards our partners and in general, just like flowers have a magnetic power just for themselves. While there is also another form of body shaming, which is the direct form of body shaming, which is the more or less heavy and always stupid jokes that people do about weight, the weight of a person. So too much or too little weight. About physical shapes of a person, about the harmonious distribution of the curves on a woman's body, about the height or shortness of a person, about breasts, too big or too little, too round or too pear-shaped, even on the shape, not just the measure of the breasts. About the buttocks, too big, too small, too flat, too round. Also for men, this is for men, about the penis, too short, too long, too thick, too thin. Body shaming about the belly, or fat rolls or cellulite, even on the pimples. And even, listen to this, body shaming on the genitals. I have a student who recently divorced. Thanks to goddess, she divorced because her ex-husband used to tell her that her yoni was ugly, was strange. So she divorced and she met me at the gym doing some secret sexuality exercises for the body. And she looked at me and she said, "Ooh, whoa, that's so sensual. What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm taking care, I'm training my magnetism and my body and all of it." And she wanted to know more about my job, what I do. And I told her I am a sex coach and a priestess of Aphrodite and sacred sexuality. And she said, "I want to know more about that." So we continued to chat when in the shower, and she confessed me that she had just booked a surgery appointment to have a surgery on her yoni. And I said, "No, no, 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 please, please don't do that, because you're gonna lose any sensitivity, any pleasure, any pleasure." And she was very convinced to do that, one part of her. The other part said, "Please," she said to me, "please help me stop this." And I said, "Okay, we can work on it." So she became my student. This is very recent, and she started changing very quickly. And when starting this path of awareness, the Aphroditic path of sacred sexuality, people have immediate benefits and huge transformation, not just in their sexual life, but also in their life, in their relationships. Yeah, the body shaming on genitals, we do it ourselves. It's true, it's true. But in that case, the student, my student, was body shamed by her ex-husband, which is terrible, terrible. So, in very, very few days, she started loving her body because she's so beautiful. And it is unbelievable that she concentrated on the ugliness of her yoni. And I'm going to go back into this, but she changed everything and she started awakening her magnetic sensual power and having a more juicy life and experiencing more pleasure. I'm going to tell you how and why in a moment. So stay with me till the end. The peculiarity of the teachings that I transmitted her in this case, but I transmit to all of my students, is that the focus has to be not on the other people pleasure, because we cannot be liked by anyone and we cannot be different from what we are. Rather than working on be people pleaser, I guide women to focus on their own pleasure, and focusing on their own pleasure through powerful techniques and a method that I created, the Aphrodite method and the Yoni egg and Yoni wands technology method, which is a part of the Aphrodite method, and which has been quoted also by the best universities of the world for the amazing results that I had with my students and clients. Through this method and these practices, women start awakening their own magnetic power, their own sensual power, because they start focusing on themselves, not on the outside. So the focus is from being people pleaser to be self pleaser. And this makes them more magnetic. Moreover, talking about the student that wanted to have surgery on her yoni, I explained her that every yoni is different, has a different shape, and we don't have to believe the cosmetic and surgery industry that compels us to have all the same shape of face, all the same shape of eyes, of nose and lips and breasts and hips and buttocks and even yoni, because we all are different. Every one of us is different. And for every yoni, there is a lingam. If all the yonis were the same, they wouldn't feel pleasure, and vice versa. For every lingam, there is a yoni. I explain me better. If a narrow yoni and a yoni which is not deep enough experiences sex with a long penis, with a long lingam, the woman will feel pain, and the man also, maybe less, but it won't be pleasurable. Vice versa, a very profound yoni won't feel that much pleasure with a lingam which is shorter, but a shorter lingam is fine, it's perfect for a yoni which is not so deep and profound. So there will be perfect match. A yoni with the labia protruded outside will feel a lot of pleasure with a certain kind of man, with certain kind of lingam, but not with others. Vice versa, certain kind of man and lingams will feel more pleasure with a certain kind of yoni. So there is space for everyone, for every shape, for every color. So please don't have surgery on your genitals, because this kills your pleasure and therefore kills the intimacy and kills the relationship, because relationship is a lot based on the satisfaction, on sexual satisfaction. So direct and indirect body shaming ensures that sexuality is experienced in an increasingly less spontaneous manner. In some cases, intimacy is even avoided by some. For example, some of my students, before training with me, they confess me that they tend to avoid having sex when they feel bloated, when they feel a little bit more swollen, such as before menstruation. Women say categorically no to sex before menstruation because they feel fat, they feel swollen, they don't feel in perfect shape. Or some other students confess me that they have the anxiety of the performance, but also the way they show up the first time they make love with a new person. Does some of you experience the same? Let me know with a raised hand or write down in the comments. Do you feel the first time you make love with someone, you want all the lights down? So dimmed lights or no lights at all, not to be seen at all, because you don't want to show your imperfection to the other person. Does it happen to you? Let me know that. The sad thing here is that instead of making love, they're making a competition. This is not love. This is not about love. Perfection is not about love. It's cruel. So when we make love with the idea that we have to be perfect physically, we are seeing the other person not as someone to love, not as someone to be loved by, to let ourselves be loved by, but we see in the other person a terrible judge that will focus not on our pleasure, on our moans, on our being in ecstasy, but will focus on the fat rolls, on the breasts that are not big enough or not small enough, on the buttocks, on the pimples, on the everything, which is not real. Because believe me, during sex, the majority of people don't look at this. Men don't look at this, my dear, my beloveds. And even women. What we look for is love. What we look for is care. What we look for is inhabiting poetically our body and the space. And that's the kind of beauty we want in sex. The care. Not the perfection of the body, the care. So the other person is not there to judge us, is there to love us, to make love to us. And we are there to make love to the other person, to the partner. So the less we worry about that kind of obsessive beauty, which is not real beauty, as I said, the more we worry about perfection, the less pleasurable the sexual experience will be. The more we make love with art, with all the soul, with all the pleasure, focusing on the pleasure and on the love and on the care and on the devotion, seeing ourselves as a goddess and the partner as a god or goddess, the more we will experience that beauty, that Aphrodisiac beauty that moves the heart and makes our orgasms incredibly powerful. So to help you, I suggest you a little naughty exercise. Just have a look on the websites and the profiles, on the social profiles that show photos and videos of all the actresses and models that we adore and we believe they are perfect, without makeup, caught at the seaside, for example, and you will discover they are not perfect, but they are beautiful anyway, as we are, with all our imperfections. So being charming, being sensual and magnetic has nothing to do with perfection. And you will love them the more, even the more, right? But it's reassuring to see their humanity. So go and have a look at those photos of all the Hollywood stars without makeup. You will see cellulite, you will see fat rolls, you will see muscles which are not so tonic as you think. You will see spots on the face, you will see big pores on the skin, you will see all of that. And it'll be reassuring. We want more of that, won't we? A reason why we confuse sensuality and feeling sexually desirable with perfection is due to the fact that we are in the era of advertisements, of advertising, where we see that the most showy product, the most visible product, is the one that sells the most, the one that captures your attention. So we live in the illusion that the more showy we are, the biggest lips we have, the more showy hair we have, the more showy dress we wear, the more we will be chosen, the more we will be purchased. Just like the prostitutes in the past and even in the present, which is in my books, I explain how the concept of prostitution changed from the sacred priestesses that through sacred sexuality energy, they protected prostitution, according to some scholars, means to protect. And it changed the meaning of the word and it became to expose. So we are being so brainwashed that we think that in order to be more sexually desirable and more lovable, because that's about it after all, we have to be more showy, to expose ourselves like objects in a supermarket. So the more evident we are in behaviors, in gestures, the more showy things we do, the more showy outfit we wear, the more showy features we have, the more we will be chosen, the more we will be attractive. And this means the more we will have an insurance on our future that we will keep the partner. Because if we are sensual and sexual, we will keep the partner, we will be loved. But I want to make a difference between being sexy, according to what magazines make us believe what is sexy, is considered sexy, and being really sensual, really seductive, really magnetic. So do you have any idea of what is the difference between being sexy and being seductive, magnetic? Some of you has an idea of it. I want to also make a disclaimer here, because I absolutely don't want to judge the women that for any reason, any personal reason, which is unquestionable, and I want to discuss, absolutely, I will absolutely respect all the women that for their personal reasons, they choose to have surgery, to undergo surgery, to obtain a different result on their features, maybe on their body or on their face. But also I have to say that the majority of my students that take my training or are with me in a one-to-one relationship, in paths of mentorship, exclusive paths of mentorship, they all decide, the majority of them decide to remove their prosthesis because they start loving their bodies so much, and they stop focusing on the outside, on pleasing somebody outside, and start focusing on the inside, on their own pleasure. Being showy doesn't necessarily has to do with being more magnetic, right? They can coincide, but not necessarily. Okay. The difference is your soul. The difference is your inner love for yourself. There are women who are absolutely showy and you turn your head to look at them, but they're just showy. They're not magnetic. You look at them, but you don't desire to be in their presence. And there are women who just enter in the room and you feel the energy in the room changes because they are magnetic, because they are centered in their soul, in their yoni power. The difference is focusing on our inner desire instead on the other people's desire. Makes a huge difference. And this is precisely the difference. The moment we focus on our desire, on what we like, not on what the other person likes, that's the way in which we reawaken our fire, our sexual desire. There is no other way. We activate our sexual energy when we know and own our desire. And that's what I teach about among the many other things in my training to become a certified sex coach, specialized in the use of yoni eggs, yoni ones, and anal ones. When taking this training, which has opened its doors, and if you want, I can leave you the link if you are on following me on Facebook or on YouTube. You will see that in the chat in a moment. While if you are here on Instagram, you can have a look at the link in my bio. During this training, here is it. I'm going to share the link so you can have a look. During this training, I teach people through a method, not just through scattered practices, because this is not enough. Doing some random practices, it's useless. We need a method and we need a proper guidance. Otherwise, it's just going in the dark, trying with attempts to understand how to awaken our sexual energy. Many attempts and mistakes, getting many things wrong. Well, a method is what makes the difference. Through sex coach training, my students have a method that can be used for themselves to awaken their pleasure in bed and out of bed, to awaken their magnetism, and also to teach this method to other women. This is a path of spirituality. This is a holistic path, an integrated path of sacred sexuality. This is also a political feminist path of empowerment, because I work in an integrated way on 360 degrees on the woman and on the context, because changing ourselves is not enough. We need to change also society, but we do it starting from ourselves, rebelling. And we rebel through focusing on our pleasure and saying, okay, I won't be a slave anymore. I understood that trick. I won't fall into this trap anymore. Hmm? Being more magnetic is not the aim of my training, sex coach training, but for sure is one of the amazing results that you will experience. I advise you to have a look also at the feedbacks of my students on the page that I shared on the page, where you can see and read all the infos about sex coach training, and you will see the incredible results they had, how their lives changed on every level. In sex, in relationship, they finally met the man of their lives. They started respecting themselves and emanating this energy of royalty codes. They started being treated like the queens they are, not the power over dynamics. I'm not talking about that, but just being powerful to be, to say, to manifest their inner truth. Experiencing outrageous pleasure, mind-blowing orgasms. I had some of my students having orgasms with the practices I teach, without a partner and without any physical stimulation, just with the practices I gave them of breathing and contraction of the yoni. So you will really learn with this training how to master your sexual energy and develop your leadership and your potentialities. If we consider the average man, also the average man has been brainwashed by society, because the society educates men to have certain macho man reactions when they see certain kind of women which are enslaved by the patriarchal capitalism. Hi everyone. So the majority of men don't even like that kind of women. And the poor women, from one side, we have the poor women which feel compelled to stick to those unreachable models of perfection. So they will undergo surgery and do a lot of fatigue and undergo a lot of stress to meet these unreachable models of perfection, spending really a lot of energy and money and time. On the other hand, there are men who are not really attracted by that because it's fake, but they are educated by society to have those macho man reactions when they see a certain kind of buttock, a certain kind of lips, a certain kind of breasts. But men are much more than this. Men are much more than Homer Simpson. Men are much more than those who say, "Oh, what a beautiful buttock." And women can be much more than those who say, "Oh," and can say, "Do you know, attached to this buttock, there is a person. And my buttock follows me wherever I go, because I am a person with a soul, with emotions, with feelings." So we have to say no to this on a personal level and encourage other people. This is why I told you, Sarah, absolutely. This is why I told you, share this live, because women and men need to hear this, because none of them is happy with this. It's something that makes sex and relationships very unhealthy and unhappy, because we don't really communicate on a wordly level, on a logos level, and on a bodily level. We don't need this. We don't want this. Not women nor men, believe me. Women and men are much more than this. Again, I want to say for the women who connected just now, nothing wrong with having makeup. I have makeup. I didn't have any surgery in my life, but I have nothing against makeup, nothing against adorning your body as you want, as you like. Adorn your body, do it. or if you feel the necessity to undergo surgery, respect, profound respect. The problem is not about that. The problem is when we do everything we do, from the makeup to the adornment to the eventual surgery, to please somebody else. Because doing this, we define ourselves as objects of desire rather than reclaiming our being subjects of desire. So reclaim, women, beloved women here, reclaim your being subjects of desire, reclaim your power, and you will be much happier. You will feel much more sensual, attractive, seductive, magnetic. And men, all of them, even the more unconscious one, will feel it, will perceive it, because they know, they feel. It's something in the flesh, it's something in the electromagnetic field, it's something that you can see as a sparkle in the eye. So it happened to me, maybe it happened to you as well, that in the past, just because of this principle, which I call the Aphroditic principle of attraction, focusing on my own pleasure, on my own desire, I unintentionally seduced several men in the most unexpected moments, when I was without makeup, without any particular dress. I didn't expect it. And they were magnetized, they were attracted by me. On the contrary, it also happened that I was dressed as a queen. I adorned myself like the vestitio sacra, the sacred adornment and dressing of Aphrodite. And I did it consciously, and I had makeup and I had adornments and jewels, and I seduced. The difference, there is no difference, but the difference between authentical magnetism and just being showy is being focused on ourselves, feeling like queens. This is what makes the difference. And yeah, because personally, I work a lot and I teach my students how to work with Aphrodite's ancient mysteries, Aphrodite ancient arts. And this is all. This is all. So I invite you from today, this is a practice that you can do. Maybe you want to write it down. Start shifting the axis of your focus on your desire from the other person's desire, especially male desire, on your own desire. Shift the focus on your pleasure. And you will see, as a consequences, it's not the aim again, but it's a consequence, a pleasurable consequence, which will augment your self-esteem, your self-love. You'll feel more magnetic and you will be more magnetic. So you all can feel the difference between a woman that is constantly worried to not showing her belly and is like not breathing all the time and putting down her t-shirt all the time. She's stressed and sweating all the time. Or a woman that, in order to feel more seductive, according to the diktats of society, she will wear very, very high heels on which she doesn't feel comfortable to walk, and she even feels pain. There are many Hollywood actresses that are rebelling against that and are walking the red carpet barefoot or on flip-flops. Chapeau, really. Because we are not attractive if we are stressed continuously by the idea of being liked. So the less we care, the more we are magnetic. So real magnetism is something that you can feel, from a twinkle, a flame in the eyes. You can perceive it from micro movements of the lips, of the glance, but it's not something, to do it on purpose. It just emanates from you. It emanates from the nipples. It emanates from your yoni. It emanates from your buttocks, from this part of the body, which is very sensual, from your neck. And it's like an electric thrill that walks all over the body. And it's contagious. If you feel that thrill, the other person will feel that too, that electricity, that magnetism, electromagnetic energy of seduction, and will emanate from every pore of your skin. It happens just when you focus on your own pleasure, no other way. And this is precisely what I accompany you, I guide you to do during sex coach training, the only training in the world which trains you as a sex coach specialized in the use of yoni eggs, yoni ones, and anal ones, and with the Aphrodite method, on which a student of university, she's doing a degree thesis on my Aphrodite method, which is great. 100% guaranteed. You will have a great results by working with this method, because it's not magnetism and sensuality is something you can train, but it has nothing to do with strategies. I will look like this, I will do like that. No, this is ridiculous. Nothing to do with that. It's a method that centers you in your sexual power, which is the vital energy, the energy that moves the world, the Aphrodite principle of attraction. That is the shift. That is the shift. And doing it with a training which has been tested on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women all over Italy and all over the world with great success. Read the testimonies, read the feedbacks of my students in the page that I linked to you, or go on the bio of my Instagram to read them. You will feel and experience in your body, in all your bodies, the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, the energetic body, and the spiritual body. You will feel this ecstasy going through you. And this gives you an energy which is never ending from the outside, and people are attracted by this energy. And it's a virtuous circle, because the more you focus on that, the more you will have good sex. And the more you have good sex, the more you will be satisfied, and the more you will be not you will not feel drained, as the majority of people feel after sex, after orgasms. But you will feel full of energy, because I will teach you the techniques for that. So having mind-blowing orgasms that don't make you feel drained and tired, but will make you feel full of energy. Yeah. So it's something, this training, sex coach training, something you do for your own benefit, changing your life in every area: sex, relationship, your jobs, every kind of relationships, with friends, with parents, with sons and daughters, with partner, your satisfaction in your job, your wealth also brings a lot of wealth, focusing on your pleasure. And also, you will make pleasure be your lifestyle, and you will make pleasure be your job if you want to, because it's a training that forms you to be a coach. so you can guide other women to experience the same. And that's why I said it's a feminist and a political path as well. So it's something that works on the body, on sexuality, on the spiritual realm, on energetics, and also on society and culture. So I have to say that it's an ever increasing market, this one, because luckily, thanks to the goddess, women are awakening and are asking more and more for sex coaches. So if you are thinking to be a coach for women and work for women empowerment and make the difference in your life and in society for other women, to make a love revolution, an Aphrodisiac revolution, choose a training that gives you a serious and a structured and a complete and extraordinary training and competencies and tools for you, and a method that you can use forever for whomever adapting it. And I have to say one last thing, that today is the last day to apply to join in sex coach training with early bird price. So really go run and subscribe today. There are a few hours left to join in this amazing training, which has changed the lives of so many women around the world. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in this amazing container with all the other amazing women that have already joined in. So grab this opportunity and suggest it to other women. So I thank you all for having been here. And this live will stay here for a while. I don't know if we will keep it. So watch all of the live and join in sex coach training. Do it for yourself, because your sex life and your relationships will benefit from it incredibly. And you will be certified to do it as your job. And yeah, I wait for you. Thank you. Love you all.